this is the oral history project for Frenchwood, Friday, July the 27th, and I am now interviewing
Zaibunnisa.
Okay. When were you born?
1942.
What was the name of your father?
Ibrahim Desai.
And can you remember the date and place of his birth?
He was born in Targeshwar, India, 1901.
1901. What was his occupation?
He was a custom officer.
Okay then. Did he work full time?
Yeah.
Did he work many hours a week?
He worked full time.
Okay then. What was his age when he died?
73.
Okay then. What was the name of your mother, your maiden name?
Amina.
Right. And can you remember her date and place of birth?
I know she was born in India, in Targeshwar, but I don't know about her date of birth.
Yeah. And whereabouts is that in India?
Pardon?
Whereabouts is that in India? Is it in North India or?
It was, Surat, Bombay, near that.
Okay then. And is that where your father came from, round Bombay?
Yeah, my father did a job in Bombay.
Okay.
And then he moved to Pakistan.
Right.
During partition, 1948.
Okay then. Did your mother work before she was married?
No.
She didn't.
She was married very early age, 17 years old.
Okay then. What was her age when she died?
60 years.
All right then. And did you have brothers and sisters?
I've got brothers and sisters. We were 6 sisters in all with me and 2 brothers.
2 brothers. Did any die young?
Yeah, my mother had one son who died very early, when he was young, born.
And your brothers and sisters, how old are they?
2 sisters have died, and I've got now 4 sisters. One sister is older than me. She is about 68 years old. I'm going to be 65. And then I've got 2 younger sisters than me. One is 4 years younger than me, and one is 10 years younger than me. I've got 2 brothers. One brother is 2 brothers are older than me.
Okay then. Do any of them live in England?
One sister lives in England.
And all the rest in Pakistan? Is
2 sisters in Pakistan, but 2 brothers are in Canada.
Okay then. So you're all over the world, as it were. Yeah. Can you remember anything at all about your grandparents?
My grandmother, she used to live with me after she was divorced. So she lived with us.
And was that your mother's mother? Or
yeah, mother's mother.
Yeah.
And my father, mother and father lived in India. We lived in Pakistan.
Right.
in Karachi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But originally you came from near Bombay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll come to that later. Where was the first place you lived in Frenchwood?
Avenham Council Flat. Avenham Council Flat.
In Frenchwood itself?
Yeah.
Okay. How long did you live there?
I think about a year. Then we bought a house in Zaibunnisa Street.
Okay then. Tell me about the house. What sort of house was it?
Which one?
In Selborne Street.
It was a 3-bedroom, 2 downstairs room. Then it didn't have a kitchen. Then we extended a kitchen. Then we felt the children need a garden and space, so we moved to Southern Parade.
Okay then. I'll come to Southern Parade in a little bit. So it was a 3-bedroom in Selborne Street,
Yeah.
and you had 2 rooms downstairs. What about bathroom and toilet?
Toilet separate, my bathroom toilet together.
Yes.
Yeah,
And was that upstairs?
upstairs.
Okay then. Did you have central heating?
No,
All right then. And was it rented or owned? Did you buy it? You
we bought it.
Okay then. So there was yourself, your husband, and 3 children.
Afterward,
Yes.
first was 1 child, and then 2 children afterward born.
Okay then. Can you describe the area in Selborne Street where you lived? The local shops, that type of thing.
Yeah, the shops were near my house. There was a park round that corner. I used to take my children there to play.
Yes.
And there was swing there. But there wasn't very big area for playing. Now they have made a big area for children over there.
What year was it when you first moved into Selborne Street?
I don't remember that. I think we lived there for 8 years, and then we came here and we lived here in 20 years. It's been 20 years we lived here.
Okay, so the late 1970s, maybe, you moved into Selborne Street.
Yeah.
All right then. What was your relationship like with the neighbours in Selborne Street?
My neighbors, like, sometimes they used to fight with children. Like they used to have, they had 3 children, and while I had only 1 child. And so they had problems with my child. It was not a very good relationship. Although I used to go there and we used to be friends, but for the children's sake, there were problems.
Okay. Was it a mixed neighbourhood? Were there people
Yeah.
from different backgrounds?
Yeah, English and Asian. No, Asian were very few. There were few Asian, English were more.
Okay then. What about shopping? When you went shopping, did you go to local stores or supermarkets?
I went to the town to do my shopping. I used to go about every week. I used to go take my children to the town and do shopping. I enjoyed that.
Where did you go?
In the town centre.
Okay. Did you go in any particular shops or the market?
Like in the British Home Store or Marks Spencer Market. Yeah.
Did you shop for food in the market or?
Sometime I used to go to that Asda at Fishwick Parade. There used to be a shop there. I used to go there. Sometimes my husband used to. We didn't have a car in the beginning. We had a car very after my third child was born.
Okay then. Did you do the cooking in the house?
Yeah.
So all the food was home cooked?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah. And was it mostly Indian food?
No, English food even, like chips and burgers and this, and I used to do that for the children.
Okay, then. What about clothes for the children? Did you make them or buy them? Or?
No, I bought them.
Yes. So
Yeah.
So you didn't make any clothes
No.
yourself? Okay then. What about sort of family activities? Did you play with the children?
Yeah, whenever I had time doing my household work and everything, we used to, the children watched TV even, and we used to play with them, but I used to take them to the park more.
Right. So
every day, mostly I used to take in Avenham Park even.
Yeah. Were you strict parents?
Not always. Like sometimes you have to be strict at time, but most not shouting all the time with them.
Yeah. Okay then. Now, what I want to do is to go back to your childhood. Is that okay?
Mm.
So I want to ask you about the type of house and place that you lived in as a child.
Yeah.
So can you tell me where did you live?
In Karachi, custom quarters.
Okay, then tell me about that. That you lived in Karachi. Tell me about the house that you lived in.
It was a big house. We had a big family, so it was a government house, and it was a very big house. Like it had 5 rooms, big rooms. Yeah, there was a sitting room, and there was a bedroom, dining room, and there was another bedroom, and a kitchen and toilet outside in the house.
Okay. So how many people lived in the house?
We were at six sisters and 2 brothers.
Okay, and so there was 8 of you plus your mother and father. All right. And did the house come with his work?
Yeah, with my dad's job.
With his job as a customs officer?
Yeah.
Okay then. Can you describe the area that you lived in round the house? What was it like? Was it a residence?
It was a big compound.
Yes.
And there were flats built in that compound. And there was a good community, mostly we used to get together, and it was a good, we used to play together, and even when we grow big, and we had a good time.
Okay then. So the relationships with neighbours were very friendly.
Yeah.
Everybody was very close. In the house, did you have to do jobs for your parents?
Not mostly. I went to education. I went, always been studying, and at home we had servant who cleaned and did made some chapati. My mother did some cooking.
Right.
And my grandma also helped. So we had little work to do.
As children?
Yeah.
All right then, that's interesting. What about sort of shopping for food and that type of thing? Did your mother do all that, or?
The brothers mostly did the shopping, and sometimes when we were children we used to do a little bit of shopping, not much.
Okay then. Again, what about the clothes that you wore? Did your parents make them, or were they bought?
No, they give it to the tailor to sew.
Right. So there was a local tailor who would...
Yeah. Who used to live in my father's servant quarters. My father had servant quarters. So there was a tailor. We gave one house to him. He used to sew some of our clothes. And then there was a servant who used to live there.
Right. What was your relationship like with your parents? Was it strict or friendly or casual or loving? Or
loving. My mother was very loving, and my father was also. But my father was religious, but he always brought up in a religious way. He always told us to do things, and like to say prayers, and to be obedient, and to speak the truth. He never wanted us to tell lies.
Okay. What about discipline at home? Who enforced the discipline?
My father.
Did he just shout at you, or?
Oh no, he didn't shout that much.
Did he ever go on holiday at all?
Where, in Pakistan? Yeah, I went on holiday when I start working. When I start working, then I went for holiday.
But as a child, you never went with the family? Or?
No, I didn't go.
Okay. Did you go to the mosque as a family?
No, we Muslim women don't go to the mosque.
Okay.
Only men go to the mosque.
And did your father go regularly?
Oh. But I don't know whether he went regularly, but he prayed at home.
Okay.
He went on Friday, but I don't know about other days because he was working all the time.
Okay then.
Is he good? Is he interesting?
Yeah.
What about education?
I studied till Masters of Art in Sociology from Pakistan.
When did you first attend school?
Oh, that's a long time ago. I don't remember which year it was in school, in the basic school, in the beginning. I don't know which year I did metric. I did metric in 1961 I did my metric.
Did you start school at 5 years of age or 6 years
6 years, I think so, 6 years.
Okay.
Oh.
What's your earliest memory of school? Your earliest memory?
Yeah, it was a good school. It was a convent school. Sacred Heart School, and we had a father used to teach, and sometimes the nuns used to teach, and it was a good school. They were strict, but they gave us games to play, and they gave us good education.
Whereabouts was this?
In Karachi.
In Karachi.
Where we lived.
So you attended a convent school?
Kemari was the place.
Right. So you attended a convent school until what age?
Until my matric.
And how old were you then?
I think I was 18 years old.
Okay, so you were at the convent school till you were 18. What were your favourite subjects at school?
In school, I liked physiology, hygiene. Then I liked English. I liked maths.
Can you remember any teachers at the school? Did any leave an impression on you?
Sometimes I tried to memorize some of my teachers, and only when I was young there was a strict teacher I remember. Some strict teacher I remember, and some young as when I was young. But I enjoyed my education.
Okay. Did you have a good relationship with the other children?
With my children?
No, with your fellow pupils at school.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes I used to have somebody used to bully me at time, but it on the whole it was not very bad.
Okay then. Was there any physical exercise in the school? Did you do any physical exercise?
Yeah, they used to give us little bit exercise, not very much exercise, doing this and that.
Oh,
and,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not big, heavy exercise.
No. Just basic exercises. Okay. What was your parents' attitude to school in general? Were they in favour of you getting educated?
Oh yeah. My mum always used to say, don't sit at home, go to school. She said, she always she say go to school and go and study, because she didn't get education. So she wanted us to study.
Okay. Did you get any homework?
Oh yes, we used to get homework in school, higher school, and not as a young, I don't know, remember that.
No, not as a,
School.
when you were a small child, no. Did boys and girls, did they learn together or separately?
When I was young, when I was about 6 to 8 years, I had a mixed school.
Right.
But when I went to further education in higher school, then it was a girls' school.
Then it was separated. All right then. Did you have to wear a uniform?
Uniform.
Even at...
Not when I was young, in a primary school there was no uniform,
No.
but in a high school.
Okay then. Did you eat at school? Did you have a lunch at school?
When high school,
Yeah.
because I think when in primary school we came back for our lunch at home, because our home was not very far from this.
So did you walk to school and
Yeah.
back?
And while higher school was very far from my house, we used to travel by bus, and we used to take our lunch with us.
So when did you go to the higher school?
Mm.
When did you go there? How old were you?
I don't remember the exact date.
It's okay.
Mm.
So you went on to, you left the convent school, then you went on to the higher school. What did you study there at the higher school?
It's French, English, Urdu, history, I don't remember history or geography and maths and we had 5 compulsory subjects we had to do, and general science.
Okay. Did you have to pass an exam to go to the higher school?
We were just admitted. We were given certificate from that school.
Yes, from the convent school.
Yeah, and then we were admitted, and that was also a convent school, not the St. Lawrence Convent School.
The higher school?
And then after that I went to college.
So, how old were you went to college? About 18?
Yeah.
Right. What did you study at college?
I studied psychology, Islamic history, and English and Urdu. I don't remember the subjects.
So how long were you at the college?
For 4 years.
4 years. And then, what did you do after you graduated from college?
Then I went to university,
So where did you go to university?
Karachi University.
To Karachi University. What did you study there?
Sociology, Masters in Sociology.
Okay. So how long were you at Karachi University?
2 years.
And after you graduated, what did you go and do then?
Then I worked in a government department, social welfare.
Okay. Did you have a good experience of university?
Yeah, I had a good time. I enjoyed it. But you had to study a lot at the university.
Were there a lot of young women like you at university?
Yeah. We made friends and then we had a good time together. But we had to study a lot at the university.
So women have the opportunities to go to university?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is too much education in Karachi.
Too much?
Yeah, the people like to study.
Okay. So you left university?
Even at my time, there was, but not in my own, in my own community where I was brought up. People didn't study at that time, but other communities, they studied.
Right. It's just interesting that a lady of your generation has managed to go to university and to achieve academically?
Yeah, I told my father I want to study.
What did he say?
First he agreed like graduation BA is enough for you while you are studying MA. But I said I want to study. So I went and studied. And I worked for 4.5 years in Pakistan. Before then got married and came here.
So tell me about the work that you did in Pakistan. What did you do?
Social welfare project in an urban project it was, and different activities used to run there, and I used to organize services.
Okay. And I assume that you knew English by then, that you could speak English.
Yeah, I knew.
Where you were taught at the convent school.
Yeah.
So you were taught English at the convent school. So
I gave all my examination in English.
All your examinations were done in English?
Yeah.
And not Urdu?
No.
Okay. And did that include the university?
Yeah, university even.
Okay then. Tell me now about the sort of... Did you work full time?
Yeah, in Pakistan. And I worked in community relation office. You know community relation office?
Here in Preston?
Yeah. I worked about a year in Preston.
Okay. Well, tell me first about...
As a community worker.
As a community worker. Okay, I'll come back to that. Tell me about... so you worked for 4 years?
4.5 years in Pakistan.
In Pakistan. Where did you meet your husband?
It was arranged marriage.
So it was an arranged marriage?
Yeah.
So how old were you when you married?
I was 30 years old.
Okay then. Did you decide to come to England straight away, or why did you?
After my marriage, I came after 6 months to Hull, Yorkshire, where my husband lived.
Had you ever seen your husband before you married?
No.
Right. Did he come over to Pakistan?
To get married.
Yes. So you married in Pakistan, and then you came over to Hull. Okay. Tell me about Hull. What was your first impression of England?
I was lonely in the beginning because in Hull there was hardly Asian community. So, but I joined a college to do some English lesson at the college, and then we moved to Preston after some month. I got a job in community relation, and my husband got a job because my sister was living in Preston.
So that's the reason that you moved to Preston? Yeah, you had a sister living here. Okay, so you moved to Preston. And
because there was religion here, we didn't have much religion in Hull. There wasn't any mosque or anything.
So you couldn't really worship in Hull. Okay. So you come to Preston. Where do you live in the beginning in Preston?
I said no, in Avenham Council flat.
In Avenham Council flat. So that's your first home in Preston, and then you moved into Frenchwood Street. So tell me about your work in Preston.
I used to work as a community worker. I just worked for nearly a year. Then my first child born, so I had to leave the job.
Okay. And what about your husband? What did he do?
He worked as a nurse.
Okay, then. Did he work at the hospital?
Yeah.
And had he qualified in Pakistan?
No, he qualified here.
He qualified here, okay. So, how long did he work in the hospital for?
I don't remember, but he worked for till his retirement. He worked a number of years.
Okay. And you raised 3 children. So, have you gone back to work or gone into...
I worked as a part-time with the workers' education after my 3 children. I used to do the English class and health class and Islamic study class, and I also worked for the Muslim girls' school, Islamic study teacher for 1 year. Then the school was closed. I worked in a doctor's surgery for some time. Then I worked as a youth worker for the youth service. Then now I'm a proofreader
Right.
for the social service.
Okay. I want to go back very briefly to your childhood in Karachi. During your spare time as a child, what sort of games did you enjoy playing? Can you remember?
Yeah, we used to play that dice, dice with that ball that we used to play. Then we used to play with girls, surapata, like you have to cross a border, sometimes skipping, this type of games.
Right. So in many ways you played games that were very similar to that children played here.
Yeah.
When you got older, did you play outside mainly as a child?
Outside, and even in a club I used to play.
Okay. As you got older, you became a teenager and you went to the high school and then to university. Did you have any leisure activities then?
Yeah, with friends get together and like activity like meeting together or we used to enjoy ourselves.
So you used to socialise with...
Sometimes we used to watch cinema.
Did you go to the cinema?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Very seldom. My father was not happy about it.
What sort of films did you watch?
Indian films.
So the Indian films, yeah. Now, it's a very, very difficult thing. When you first got married, did you have to sort of get to know each other?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good relationship.
So you became friends as well as husband and wife, as it were. Is your relationship an equal one, if you will? Would you say? Have you always had a voice?
I had a voice, but he had a more voice than me.
You've obviously a great belief in education.
Yeah.
Did you always encourage your children to
get education.
Get education. Yeah. Did you always encourage them to be independent-minded, as it were?
Yeah. Is it finished now?
Okay, we can.
Because
we can. Of course, we can stop now. Thanks very much. That's been fantastic.
because I have to say my prayers now.